Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, Janet Phelan and I and guests report on the reinstatement of the Patriot Act, sections 702 and 215. Call into the show live and ask a question and get involved at 800-313-9443. This is something that affects everyone. And get involved at 800-313-9443. Or listen at 605-313-0163. And we have an excellent chat that accompanies this show, and it's there so that a question can be put in the chat. I see it, and I can put that question to our guest. And it is at meet.google.com/YTZ RECO, RECO BIA. And that will take you right to the chat. Thank you so much. All right. Janet, are you with us?
I most certainly am. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it, Frank.
Oh, always love to have you, Janet. And you are an expert on the U.S. Patriot Act and many, many other topics as well. But would you like to begin by laying the groundwork for this? Go right ahead.
Yes, I would. Actually, it seems like everybody's talking COVID these days. You can't turn on the news. You can't pick up a newspaper. Everything's about COVID. And the fact that the House of Representatives passed what they're calling a compromise Patriot Act reauthorization a couple of months ago, and it got delayed because of the COVID crisis. But it's now coming for a vote in the Senate. And this bill has repercussions. It will, if passed, it will have reverberations that will echo through the centuries in our country. And it is it actually has some relevance to the COVID crisis too, which I hope to get into a little bit later. But the fact is, everybody's talking COVID right now, and the fact that this other major legislation is being presented to the Senate is almost not getting coverage. So we have a window of opportunity here where we can contact our senators and tell them what we think about this Patriot Act reauthorization. So I think it's very important to get coverage for this now. So without further delay, there are several stipulations having to do with surveillance and spying on U.S. citizen authorities that are up for permanent renewal. And this means, of course, that they won't be coming up again in a few years. This is not a temporary measure. This will now be permanent. And these measures are direct assault on our privacy rights, on our constitutional rights to be left alone, and they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous because, as the targeted population knows, this is not only now about spying, it's about what they do with the information they get. So we have two sections here that appear to be most problematic, that are in the queue to be permanently reauthorized. So the first one is Section 702, which is supposed to be having to do with looking at foreign communication. This is how it presents itself. However, the law gives the intelligence community the space to target these foreign communications and intelligence in ways that inherently and intentionally sweep in Americans' communications. So while Section 702 states that it's simply collecting intelligence, digital, electronic intelligence from non-Americans located outside the U.S., it has factored in Americans as well, and we're being spied on through 702. So that is the first concern. The other concern, the other section, which I will be discussing a little more thoroughly, has to do with Section 215. And there's actually 3 stipulations in Section 215 which have gotten people sort of up in arms. One of them has to do, let me just pull this up really quickly here. Okay. It's HR 6172 is the number of the bill that is being, that will be this week considered by the Senate. And it will actually reauthorize, if it's passed, the government's ability to collect business and other records of individuals through the FISA court. It would also reauthorize a roving wiretap provision that permits the government to get orders targeting people who frequently change their phone lines or use burner devices in an attempt to avoid traditional wiretaps. So if you're concerned that your phone is tapped, then you go to you buy a cell phone that, what they call throwaways or burners. Actually, this is no longer very successful because of the voice recognition capability that the NSA has been using for some time now to track and trace people who are attempting to have private conversations this way. But this HR 6172 would reauthorize this, and also would reauthorize the lone wolf provision. Now, this is very interesting to me. The lone wolf provision, which is what it's called, grants the government power to surveil people who have no known connection to terrorist organizations, but are nonetheless suspected of terrorism. Now,
Janet, would
yes.
this qualify as, like, if I get an email from Iran, which I have, and I've gotten emails from Iraq and Turkey, I get emails from everywhere. Would this qualify me as part of the Lone Wolf program?
Well, that's a very good question, because the government is not being specific at all about what standard of proof they need. Now, I found out something in researching all this. I found out something very interesting, which is that according to statements made by the FBI in testimony to Congress, they've never used the lone wolf provision. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. In fact, I believe that that reporters who have been targeted for surveillance, and there's a growing number of them, and other Carter Page, they were trying to make him out as a Russian agent. I believe that the lone wolf provision is being probably used against most individuals who've been targeted. But there's the FBI declaring to the Congress that it's never been used, and I do not believe that one bit.
Yes, I find it hard to believe myself. We have so many people that are targeted, and this mysterious list from the FISA court is very interesting. I'm sure we'll never be able to see who's on it. But at this point in time, I just don't understand why people, our own people in the U.S., have not called their congressmen and protested, because we have the right to remove legislators if they are not doing their jobs. It's part of the Constitution. Vote them right out.
Well, I'm really hoping that as a result of this show, that people will become alarmed enough to pick up their phone and call their senators. As this is now in front of the Senate, it would be appropriate to contact your senator. I'm hoping that the switchboard at the Senate gets flooded with calls from individuals who object to being surveilled and watched, not only occasionally, but in some cases 24/7. I found something else interesting about this section 215, which is the one that talks about the lone wolf provision and the business records and so forth. According to one article that I was reading, that here, I'm going to quote this: the government's actual use of 215 is imprecise because the government also continues to say that the types of information it obtains with 215 are classified. Now, the types. So we know they're listening. We know they've got this huge data bank. Where they have metadata, and they also have the calls themselves. We know that they say they don't listen to the calls, but we know that's a lie. Okay. But now they're saying the types of information they're obtaining. Now, what are they obtaining besides our silly little phone calls about, you want to go to lunch this week? Should we go get a pizza? I mean, besides that kind of stuff, what other types of information are they obtaining, do you think, Frank?
Well, I think it's very easy for them to develop a psychological profile just by where you go. Like, say you go to this restaurant and they serve Italian food. Well, he likes Italian food, and that goes down. Types of music, friends, types of friends. Does he have, how much money does he have? Is he traveling to Europe? Does he have any friends in Europe? Possibly spies. There are a lot of things, a lot of different things that will actually put together a psychological profile.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, they'll have enough data. They will know just exactly what you're going to do on any given day if you're very habitual. And I just want to give everyone a couple of links here. https://contactsenators.com. And one more, www.usa.gov/elected-officials.
Very good. I'm glad you gave that information out. Good.
Yeah, it's important that you know what district you're in and what senator is covering your district. A lot of people don't know that, especially in a state like California.
So I found that the comments you were making about creating a psychological profile to be very interesting, because in fact, these smartphones, and I refuse to have a smartphone, and I won't go any further than a burner or a dumb phone, but the smartphones are known to create psychological profiles of the user of the phone based on the metadata surrounding the use. For example, somebody who talks a lot on the phone might end up getting one type of psychological profile because they talk all the time, right? So the phones themselves are feeding information in to an entity which is creating a psychological profile of the user based on, are they searching, are they using it to surf the web? Are they talking all the time? That sort of thing.
Huh.
So
we have Richard from North Carolina who would like to join in, and he'll primarily just listen, but when he jumps in, he usually has a lot to offer. And I'm sure he will. I just wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten you, Richard. Anytime you want to make a comment. Right now, we're going to go to back to Janet, and you can continue.
Well, I have a theory about at least one of the variables that go into deciding who gets targeted. And because basically, I think they are looking for people who are vulnerable. Obviously, we're not seeing where Dianne Feinstein or Nancy Pelosi are getting targeted. So they're looking for a particular kind of vulnerability. Now, obviously, this isn't true of all of us. We have we have former NSA analyst Karen Stewart who got targeted. Obviously, whatever perceptions there were about Karen superseded any stipulations about vulnerability. So, but I think in general, since it appears that so many of the people who are targeted, and again, not all, but so many of them are single and women, that we actually have some sort of concerns going on a federal level. We have sort of a list, and they're looking for vulnerable people. And that goes into the psychological profile as well.
Okay, as far as vulnerable people, I think you can move into the area. Okay, we're coming up on commercial. Thank you, folks. We'll be right back.
As a listener of RBN, you're surely concerned about being informed and being ready for whatever may come. Please consider the following questionnaire as a soul-jarring wake-up call. If you answer no to more than 2 of these following questions, you probably aren't going to make it through any major disruption in our country. The questions were compiled by people that have been there. Are you really ready? Do you own your own firearm for the primary defense and protection of you and your loved ones? Have you ever been professionally trained to stand against life-threatening behavior? Have you ever practiced enough to fire 500 rounds during a 2 to 4 day time frame, day and night? Can you load, unload, fire, and clear a jam in total darkness? Have all the adults in your household been professionally trained? Are you, life and death, comfortable with your abilities with pistol, revolver, shotgun, and rifle? Are you aware that everything that you do to prepare for an emergency is a waste of time, money, and energy? If you haven't honed your abilities to their highest level to protect and keep what you have, do you have the repair parts that will most likely be needed for each of your firearm And do you have the ability to install those parts? Could you completely clean every firearm you own? Are you aware that your body won't go where your mind hasn't been? In other words, without proper training, followed by regular practice, you probably will not win a gunfight. Well, how did you measure up? Take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start correcting your deficiencies by receiving your Commander Lifetime Membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility. A one-time donation to RBN for $500 will give you a Commander Lifetime Membership at Front Sight as a tremendously huge thank you bonus. See details on RBN's webpage to make it happen. The clock is ticking. You had better be ready before it happens.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting patriotinternet.com. For about $2 per month, patriotinternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. patriotinternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With patriotinternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, patriotinternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from patriotinternet.com. Visit patriotinternet.com today.
Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, Janet Phelan and I report on the reinstatement, possibly, of the Patriot Act. Sections of concern, Section 702 and 215. You can call into the show live, ask a question, and get involved at 800-313-9443. Or you can listen at 605-313-0163. If you have a computer, we have a brand new chat associated with the show at meet.google.com/YTZ RECO, RECO BIA. Okay, we have actually two people on here. We have Dan from Texas and Richard from North Carolina. Richard, would you like to ask a question or comment?
Well, I'd just like to comment that the lady is really, really close to the actuality of it, and vulnerability may be a correct word or may not be. I think it has more to do with situations and so-called things happening or going on around the person's life or lifestyle. But vulnerability, yeah, that's pretty close, and we all have same situations. We have many things in common, similarities per TI, and a lot of the people, well, such as myself, might not consider themselves vulnerable at all, physically or emotionally, but in some way, as far as their finances or marriages or situations that the family might be in, even your health or your family tree, your DNA, these things are being attacked, so they must fit in there somewhere. And I do appreciate you for coming on the call. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Okay, we have Dan from Texas. I think he would like to ask you a question. Janet, go ahead.
Frank?
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, I just wanted to say I'm certainly going to be calling my senator's offices and my U.S. representative. Also going to be calling governor's office and my state senator and state rep here in Texas about these issues. But unfortunately, although I'll make the call, I feel totally useless doing so because I don't think these people are listening. I don't think they care.
Well,
and
when it comes time to vote, you should make it clear that your vote depends upon them saying no to the renewal of the Patriot Act. And this Patriot Act, in the beginning, was supposed to protect American citizens from foreign nationals and another attack on the U.S. It opened the door to all of the government organizations to watch American citizens.
Absolutely. And if we look historically back at the regimes such as Joseph Stalin and, of course, Adolf Hitler and Mao Zedong, and, of course, China gets plenty of good bad-mouthing today for their tyrannical ways. There was a time, if you figure at the height of their tyranny, that you call that a 10, that I might have put America at maybe 3 or 4. And with what's going on in this country right now, I'd put it at least a 6 or 7. And I don't know what getting involved means, but I think that's ultimately going to require taking it to the streets. I don't think we're going to get it done at the ballot box. And what's going on right now over this COVID nonsense is just truly scary.
It is. I have never seen in my life the United States shut down.
I agree with you completely.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you all.
I really want to thank you for your comments. And I was actually resonating a lot what you were saying about expressing the question of what good does this do, because these people don't listen to us. And I think more and more people are feeling that way. Are we running into break? Do I hear music?
Yes. We're
okay,
coming
I'll
up
hold
on
it. I'll
station
hold it until the end.
identification, and we'll be back. Thank you so much for listening.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late-night premiere show of Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
Is the Second Amendment your line in the sand? Is the United States Constitution important to you? Are you worried about gun confiscation? You need to join us for free at gunconfiscation.com. At gunconfiscation.com, you will meet like-minded patriots, get the latest Second Amendment news, and find anything you need to prepare for gun confiscation. Visit gunconfiscation.com today. That's gunconfiscation.com. Which side are you on?
Extend your life with Extendovite. When your doctor tells you have bad cholesterol or blockages in the arteries, what do? When diet and exercise is not enough, we try medications and hope for the best. For the last 2 decades, I have been telling people about a natural method to help solve these problems and more. Extendivite can help maintain cardiovascular health and lower blood lipid levels in adults. The 7 herbs in Extendivite are known to work together synergistically to get the results we hope for. There are many testimonials on Extendivite's effect on circulatory-related ailments. Get Extendivite today to start your journey back to a healthier life. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or see us on amazon.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcast. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, Janet Phelan and I report on the reinstatement of the Patriot Act, Section 702 and Section 215. You can call into the show live and ask a question and get involved at 800-313-9443. Or you can listen at 605-313-0163. We have a brand new chat, and it works perfectly, and it's beautiful. And you can get there by going to meet.google.com/YTZ-RECO, RECO-BIA. Okay, let's get back with Janet Phelan. Go ahead, Janet.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, I was addressing some of Dan's comments and some of the discouragement that he expressed. And actually, just maybe half an hour before the show, I had posted something on Facebook talking about my sense of discouragement as well. And but the fact is, we're involved in a battle now that is larger than any single one of us. It is probably a battle for the future of planet Earth. Because what is happening now on so many different levels is destroying the planet. It's destroying the people of the planet. And I think that we need to kind of sit back and try to understand what our place and what our part is in all this. Which side are we on? And although we may feel discouraged and may feel that the enemy is very powerful, I like to say the forces of darkness are very strong. Even so, our light makes a difference. Our truth and our efforts make a difference. And they may make a difference in ways that we can't even conceptualize at this point in time. So I try to take part, through that perspective, even though I feel at times like, what's the point? What's the point anymore? Because actually the point is huge. And the point will affect not only us, but every future generation. So I did want to say that. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes,
You're absolutely
Dan.
correct. I'm sorry, go ahead.
His comment on the air to thousands of people tonight has made a difference already. And Richard's comments and my comments and Janet, your presentation, obviously, have made an impression on people. To get up, call your congressman, do something about it.
And I really liked what you had to say, Frank, about the fact that if they don't vote, appropriately here, that we can vote them out next time, and they should know that. So I think that was an important point as well.
Yeah, we had a TI from Maine go into his congressman's office to speak with him. And the congressman, he treated him like dung, like he was just a little scrap. Well, this TI is one of the people who voted for this man. And this is how the congressmen and the senators treat their people if you don't straighten them out. And it's like, who are you talking to like that? I helped put you in office. Wake up and smell the coffee. And I'm not saying obviously to rise up against your congressman, but I'm saying stand your ground. Don't let the government push you around. Go ahead, Jenna. Hi, Janet.
Yeah, just for like maybe 3 seconds, you got digitalized there. Yeah, but you're back and I'm back, and that's good. I wanted to point out a couple of other things as well concerning the lies that are flying so fast and furious about these particular reauthorization sections. We had discussed the lone wolf provision and how the administration officials are saying that it's never been used, even though it obviously, I think, is probably the most used provision. Furthermore, and this came from the same article, this is a quote: "The FBI has been able to establish probable cause to show that every individual who was monitored under FISA was acting on behalf of a terrorist group." Really? And what terrorist group are you working for, Frank? What terrorist group am I working for? What terrorist group are any of the individuals who are claiming that they are being stalked and surveilled? What terrorist group are they involved in? I'll speak for myself, was a very ordinary person living a very unremarkable life at the time something absolutely outrageous took place, which I tried to fix. Okay? So my terrorist group was my conscience, I guess. Huh? What about you?
Well, I work for a large company called We the People, and I support the Constitution. I support the laws of the land. I support every TI in the world. And it's my position that if I'm a terrorist for loving my country and loving the Constitution that was written so long ago, then I must be.
Amen to that, brother. You are an American terrorist. Yep. And so am I. And so are many others, because this whole thing is about freedom. And to bring up 702 and the Patriot Act, it's really funny if you look and research it. The FISA court was put in place in 1978, and so was 702.
Yeah, and Fourth Amendment constitutional rights against unreasonable searches and seizures, and in a total violation of privacy. They can't come into your home unless you invite them. If you do not go to the door, they do not have permission to break your door down unless you are a wanted fugitive. So I suggest, if you don't want to participate in something, I suggest you shy away from the door. Make sure that it's locked. Go to your bedroom and hang out till they leave. Is that good advice, or is that bad advice?
I think that is excellent advice.
Good advice.
That is excellent advice. And actually, Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add that I realize not everyone in the world is a Bible believer, but I am, and the Bible does speak of going into your homes and locking your windows and your doors and not paying any attention to whatever's going on outside, and no matter what happens, do not open those doors. And that's what the Bible says.
Right, and this particular faction could be deemed a destroyer because they will rip your family apart. Certain factions within the United States are against the middle class. They are against families. So please, please wake up, America. You have the power. You have been granted the power with the signing of the Constitution. Use it, please. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, I'd like to tell a little story that I actually reported on in my book. My book's called Exile. And so back when all this nonsense started in my life, I had left my rental house and was in another county going to court for someone else trying to fix this horrible thing that was happening. And I came home. I had a back house that was behind the main house. And I'm walking past the main house towards my little back house. And I hear my landlady say, "Oh, she's here. Quick, call the police." Now, I have no police record. I don't know what's going on. Lucky I heard that. So I went in the house, and my house had been tossed. Now, most people, when their house has been tossed, they're going to call the police. But I'm thinking, wait a minute, the police are already coming? What's going on? So I started looking around, and among the absolute mess that someone had left there were on my floor all these little pink pills. I have no idea what they were, but they were drugs. And I put one and one together, and I get two. The police are coming. I've got drugs in my house. I locked the front door. I drew the blinds, and I started madly scooping and flushing. And in about 7 or 8 minutes, the jackbooted thugs showed up, and they go bam, bam, bam on the door. And I didn't answer it. I didn't even breathe. And eventually they walked away. So your advice, Frank, was right on target, because otherwise, if I had answered that door, I would probably still be in jail on some sort of drug charge, that drugs I didn't own, drugs I didn't use, and that would have been the end of me.
And according to private conversations you and I have had, I think we know where that came from.
I know where that came from, but thank goodness it went right back there. Okay, it didn't work. So, and at this point in time, even though I am having, unfortunately, I am having other illegal entries to my home, I have made it clear enough and public enough that I don't use drugs. I drink. I don't smoke weed. So you try something like this again, don't you dare. So I'm not getting the drugs anymore. I'm getting other stuff going on, but no more drugs, thank goodness. So I want to say one other thing about my book. It was published in 2014. It's entitled Exile. And what I'm attempting to do in the book is to take the trajectory of the situation that occurred in my life, the situation that forced me to flee the U.S., and to draw certain conclusions. And one of the conclusions I draw in the book is that there's going to be a pandemic soon. In fact, I am positing this pandemic that I state in the book is on its way as very likely a very late part of the end game. So for those who are interested in finding out more about the book and so forth, entitled Exile.
Well, Janet, where can people purchase this book? Because it's a very interesting book, and they should be able to access it.
Oh, yes. Well, it's not on Amazon. It's on a place called thebookpatch.com. So if you go to thebookpatch.com and plug in Exile or my name or something, you can get it either as they'll send it to you as a hard copy, or you can do a download. The download is really, really cheap. I kept it really inexpensive because I felt that it was very important that the predictions I'm making and what I am seeing as the big picture here, I feel that the book has a lot of value. That's how thebookpatch.com.
I'd love to have the hard copy.
Me too, Frank.
Order it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thebookpatch.com. Okay, remember that, folks. And let me see. Oh, you might as well pick up where you left off, Janet.
I can say a few more things about this. These reauthorizations. When the Congress went on break or whatever back, or took a breather or something back in March and scheduled to vote on this reauthorization or in front of the Senate for the future, which is a week. Apparently, the sections lapsed. They have excited.
Okay, I think we are coming up on a commercial. And it'll give your line a chance to replenish itself or refresh. That should come up any time now. I'd like to thank you, Richard, and don't go away. I don't know if you're still there, Dan, but your comments are very important because they represent now, to me, the feeling of people in Texas and elsewhere. People are tired of this. And, okay, we're going to commercial. We'll be back in a bit. Thank you so much, guys.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, keep it today.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting PatriotInternet.com. For about $2 per month, PatriotInternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. PatriotInternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With PatriotInternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, PatriotInternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from PatriotInternet.com. Visit PatriotInternet.com today.
Good evening from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Tonight, Janet Phelan and I have been reporting on the reinstatement of the Patriot Act, Sections 702 and 215. And it's our wish that you go or call your congressman in all states and tell them that you don't want the Patriot Act. Okay, you can voice your opinion by calling into the show live and asking a question and getting involved at 800-313-9443 or by listening at 605-313-0163. Okay, guys, we're getting into the top of the hour, so we should be getting into closing comments, I think.
FBI Director James Comey, which I think highlights the fact that these reauthorizations are actually important. I know there are some people who are concerned that there are our pre-Patriot Act laws that allow them to spy and allow them to do this and that. But here is what ex-FBI Director James Comey had to say. He claims that the loss of Section 215 would be a problem because at least some of this information cannot be obtained with a subpoena or a national security letter. So they need this Section 215 to legally continue their illegal, unconstitutional spying. So we need to make our voices heard. We need to contact our senators and tell them that we've had enough.
Thank you, Janet. Richard, closing comments, like 20 seconds.
Well, wake up, America. They're after your freedom. That's the whole point of the whole thing, changing as they go, keeping it from being clear to you. It's time to stand up and back up, or at least back them up. Thank you, Frank, and thank you to our guest.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Richard. It's very important that while COVID-19 is going on, we watch what is going on underneath. So watch the papers. Watch not the mainstream news, but watch the real news. Okay, I'd like to say good night from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Janet. God bless.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We here at RBN are working with Front Sight Firearms Training Institute to bring our audience the best in combat, tactical, and defensive firearms training. Whether you're a private citizen who is new to firearms, or you have a concealed weapon permit and want a level of training that surpasses what you've received from your local gun range, Front Sight provides priceless education and skills taught by seasoned law enforcement, military, and private citizen instructors to levels that far exceed law enforcement and military standard. With nearly 1 million responsible citizens trained from every town, city, and state from across the United States, Front Sight has bolstered the Patriot movement to a whole new level. Contact Dan Sutterfield by phone at 573-762-2356 or 573-465-2356 or shoot him an email at domedan, DOMEDAN, at hotmail.com. This is a limited time opportunity. Don't miss it.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.
Prepare yourself. 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 Prepare yourself.